Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to look at this item, which is the Nikon Z50. It's got the FTZ adapter, and it has the Nikon AFS Nikkor 24 to 85 millimeter f3.5 to 4.5 G ED. G means gelded. It does not have a aperture ring, so you have to use it on a camera that will communicate with it. You cannot put this on some other camera with a dumb adapter. So let's look at this for a second. G lenses have these contacts here, right? And if you look around, they have some screws. They have a notch here. There's a little tiny screw right there. But the main thing is that it's just contacts. The old Nikon autofocus had the motor and the camera. And they just had somewhere they had it looked like there was a screw here, but it wasn't. It would be it looked like an old-fashioned single-bladed notch screw. And when you put it on the camera, these old lenses, right, it would line up with it would look like a flat-bladed screw bit. And when you pop it on the camera, it would snap out and engage that slot. And then when it autofocus, the camera body would move the mechanism and make it work. So in this instance, this is much more elegant. It's full-time manual. You can override the autofocus, but the autofocus will go back and move it back to where it thinks the focus is. So we'd have to shut it off, full manual or manual automatic. And in the menu, let's look. Active delighting, long exposure, high ISO noise reduction, vignette control, diffraction compensation, flash, release mode, focus mode. You see, I had a manual focus lens on here, so I had it set to manual focus. So what we're going to do is change that. For the purpose of this video, I had it on AFC continuous autofocus. Okay, and let's go to this eye. It says AFC, right? So now you're good to go. If you're focusing on something and you want it to track, or if you turn the camera on, if it went to sleep, you would zoom up on something or out on something, and then you press the shutter button halfway, and then you would see this, in movie mode it's a bigger square, but you would see this red rectangular square would turn green, which means it was in focus. And then the continuous autofocus would take over as the subject was moving in and out, or you were zooming in and out. So that's pretty cool. Well, here I'll demonstrate. You see, that's in still mode. That's the movie mode. See how the screen, this square got bigger? That's the only difference. So I went to the Oldies 2025 car show, and I shot a series of videos of these old cars cruising around the lot, cruising into the lot, cruising out of the lot, cruising around the lot. It was a 5-day affair. It starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 6-day affair. Wednesday, people cruise in. Thursday is just for the participants. Friday, the public, it's open to the public at 9 a.m. So I'm a retired gent, and I decided that I would drive down, get there at 9 a.m. on a Friday, where everyone else is either going to work or going somewhere or starting their holiday early. So I got there at 9 o'clock, and I thought there would be people in yellow or orange vests directing me, to where the spectators are, but there was nothing. So I drove in. I said, well, I'm driving through the venue. I don't want to do that. So I turned around. I asked some people. They said, oh, yeah, the spectator parking is down where it says registration. So I went down here, I parked my car, and I walked in, and I had to ask like 5 people for someone to take my admission fee and give me a wristband. Because I was going to take photos and I had a backpack and I didn't want security, like, you know, getting all nasty on me and everything. And I could say, oh, I paid for this, and if they want to kick me out, maybe they would give me my money back, maybe. So, but after all it's said and done, I didn't have to pay any. At first, I didn't pay for parking. Parking's like 10 or 15 bucks, and to get in is 20 bucks. So I only paid 20 bucks and I saved on the parking. I was there from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And people start rolling in then, because that was the official opening time was 11 a.m. So I walked around the lot. I was able to take pictures of all the cars without spectators getting in the way. But there are people with their classic cars who are rolling in. So I just picked a couple of different spots to sit down, and I would just shoot away with this thing. So I go into movie mode. I would frame. Usually I'd start at 85. Of course, the cars are far away and we're coming closer. And then I go like this. Now, I don't know if you could hear that. It just got some stiction. So it's not nice and smooth. If you're trying to zoom slowly, it binds. Fast, it works good. But if you're trying to like match something and zoom with it, it's sort of janky. And you'll see that in the movies where it's a little stop motion effect to it. But that's because their design of this lens, or I bought it used. I don't know what this condition was. Although it looks really nice and the optics work and the autofocus works and the aperture works, so I guess I'm happy. But the main thing is the autofocus does work. And in movie mode, it has electronic image stabilization, and it's automatic. Now, I'm sure this lens is telling the camera what focal length it is, and I guess the image stabilization is working to compensate for that. But you could slap a manual lens on here with no connection, and it'll still work. How about that? That's pretty cool, huh? So you can see I got the boomer jitters. There's no doubt about it. And if I was panning and it's a little jerky, of course, it can only compensate so much for image movement. And you could see that. But as soon as it got within range, because let's face it, I got the boomer jiggers, and I can't hold this thing steady at all, you can see it lock in and it gets completely steady. So it does work within the parameters of its design limits. It works great. I have newfound respect for this lens. And 1920 by 1080, you can't beat this. It's a killer combo. And I think the pictures came out really good. Nikon's got really good color. The yellows come out a little orangey looking, but otherwise everything else looks really great. So we're going to see that in the following videos. I took a bunch of still pictures, but that's going to be in a separate, its own separate video of the still pictures. So if you want to do video out in the field, get yourself a Nikon Z50 and the Nikon AFS Nikkor 2485 3.5 to 4.5 G ED. ED, that means erectile dysfunction. I don't know. So where was this lens made? In Thailand. Oh, look at this. SWMED, IF means internal focus, aspherical. And that's the, if you want to put a filter on a 67 millimeter diameter filter. So it's a really, really great camera. You know, these cameras have been superseded by the Z50 Roman numerals 2, which is two, like one stuck together, two eyes stuck together. But this has held its value. I mean, people like these cameras, I guess. I bought it 3 or 4 years ago, like for $550. They're still going for $500, even though they've been superseded by a newer model. So it's got like a, it's only touchscreen here. It's got some buttons, so it's part old school, part high tech. So in your movie mode, you push this button to start and stop your movie. And I could go on and on about it. And well, we'll look at some of the videos I took. Now they had a DJ there, and he BS'd a lot. So in that case, I'm just gonna have the video with the DJ BSing. But he played a lot of music, so I'm going to talk over that music, so it's going to be like in the background for, purposes. So let's jump right into the videos and check it out. I got to talk over the soundtrack of the car show. because they had a DJ, and he was doing a lot of talking, but he was also spinning tunes. Now, he was over-modulating everything, and it's a moot point whether you recognize the song or not, but so I don't get a ding on these platforms. I'm talking over it. Now, you can still hear it in the background, but it's just not like the focus of the video. I mean, this audio section. So I got there early. There weren't too many spectators. A lot of cars were rolling in. It wasn't a parade one after another, although it may seem to be that. It's just that I was stopping and starting the camera, as the case may be. So look at the color. It's really nice. It was a very challenging situation because the sky was clear blue, but there's a lot of clouds left over, and so the light was changing. Here I was sitting on a bench. This is the entrance. This is the coolest spot. So I sat there for a while. I got a couple of cars, trucks pulled in, some are pulling out, and I think I got some pictures of all these ancient machines. There's some guy with a vet, classic vet, right? He's checking me out. Yeah, I'm checking you out too. When you go to the car show, you have no expectation of privacy. Besides, these guys want their cars. They want to have pictures taken of their cars. So it seemed to me that the zoom ring was had some stiction, and I couldn't smoothly make a small adjustment to the zoom. If I wanted to go in and out from max to min or min to max, then it would work good. But if I just want to creep up on it, that's what it would do. It would creep. It wouldn't be smooth. It had some binding. It was a used lens. What do you expect? But considering it's a used lens, the autofocus tracked really good. Wow, that worked out good. When I start the camera, I woke the camera up. I would acquire the subject, hit the shutter button halfway. I could see it picked up the autofocus, and then I would hit the red movie button, and then it would do everything on its own. So I was adjusting the aperture, the autofocus. I had to do the zooming thing. It's a really nice lens. I thought it was a junky. It's just janky. Janky isn't junky. Janky means it just may have some weird issue that maybe you can work around. But really, I thought these came out really good. I could have set up a tripod and, panned everything. And then, it's not the same as, shooting from the hip, so to speak. Look at these big boats. I mean, these cars, they were all around. I'm a boomer, and I seen them all come off the production line new, and people drove around with them. And now, you just don't see too many of them more. And as the mom and dad had the car, they had the kids in the back, and then, one of the kids pukes up, or they put cinder blocks in the trunk, and they were working cars. And then, a lot of kids I remember in high school, their old man gave them the old Chevy Nova SS, and they muscled them out. And, we're saying, well, why would you do that? That's a mom and dad car. But now, they're cool, they're classic. Like these. I think my old man had one of these. And we used to drive up and down to Jersey Shore with it. No AC, completely rough ride. But, they were wheels. And that's all you needed was wheels. Yeah, so here's some people are cruising around. I don't know if those are their electric trikes or you could rent them or what that deal was. Here's a little bit of a parade. You can see these guys are cruising in. Now the movie mode had electronic image stabilization, but of course you could go outside the bounds of its design parameters, and then it got a little jerky. But I have the boomer jitters, and it did a really great job. And look at the focus. It keeps in focus from zooming in and out. That's amazing too. And the focus, the exposure's right on the money. Where I'm sitting, I was sitting on a stoop, look at that curb there on the other side, and my eyes were right at the height of a 5-year-old kid, because there's a couple of 5-year-old kids with their family on under one of those canopies on a grassy knoll there. So this is actually what a 5-year-old kid would see at a car show. This is their perspective, the 5-year-old kid. So that's pretty cool. And I was just pleased when it came out. I also took a bunch of still pictures, which are going to be their own separate video. I went there purposely just to proof this camera out and see what it's all about. with the movie mode. This is 1920 by 1080, 30 frames a second. I think it came out really, really, really good. It's like you could see these ancient behemoths rolling through a parking lot. And it was just great. It was fantastic. It was really, really fantastic. And this is the Parsippany Hilton. They always have it on the Labor Day weekend. It costs like $20 to get in, and to park your car is $15. So I had to talk to 5 people to get somebody to take my money for an entrance fee. I wanted to get the wristband because I was taking photos with a backpack, and if they were going to throw me out, I wanted to harangue them to get my money back. But I didn't have to pay for parking. There's no one there to give the money to. So when I left, I just got my car and cruised away. But it's really worth it, except this thing. If you go there as a couple, and if you're not going Dutch Tree, and then if you go there as a family, oh my God, you're going to drop over $100 easy. And they have truck food there, and they had a cafeteria in the hotel. So it all depends how upscale you want to get. I was only there for 2 hours. Hey, look at this guy, how good he parked. Damn, he was a good parker. Must have a lot of experience. Really good, excellent job. So, a lot of people had their big trucks there. Look, everyone's got these trucks, and they're all like excellent condition, with big giant rims. Those rims are like $1,000 each, and the tires, you know how much the tires are. I remember these cars. Being a kid, they're out in the street. People had them, and in varying degrees of decay. Some were in better shape, some were in worse shape. But then, little by little, they all disappeared. This is back in the 70s, 1970, 69, something like that. Me and my brother walked over this bridge that went over Main Highway. It was called in New Jersey, the Garden State Parkway. And he goes, Mike, that's my non-boomer name. And he goes, look, every car is a Volkswagen Beetle. And I said, what? So I stopped my tracks, and we had our hands in the fence that overwent this bridge. And we're standing there looking at all the cars are Volkswagen Beetles. Every freaking car is a Volkswagen Beetle. Well, they only cost like $999.99. That is 1 cent less than $1,000 back in the day. And that was cheaper than any American car because they were $2,000. Look at this guy's got some hearse. He's got his prop dummy there. And there's a lot of themed cars like that, And I would just hang out in a different spot, sit down, catch these cars go by. And it's a controlled environment, isn't it? Not like you're out in the street. I was standing next to a lady. She was, this is like the entrance driveway, and I was telling her that there was no one to take your money. You could have went in, and I got for free. So I guess she was taking pictures of cars that was cruising by. Or maybe she worked for a hotel, I don't know. I only spoke to her for 5 minutes. It was really good, I really liked it. This is a really excellent combo. The Nikon Z50, which has been superseded by the Z50 2, Roman numerals 2, right? And but the Z50 held its value, and they still go for $500. I'm glad I bought one like 4 years ago. And now it did, the 24 to 85, that's the lens you want, without a doubt. It was a great, I thought it was great. Right there weren't any too many spectators around. But I was there for the cars more than anything else. And the videos came out really good. I really liked it. Oldies 2025, Parsippany Hilton. Check it out next year if you get a chance. I highly recommend it. Photo ops, lots of action. It's a 50s theme, but I have my Star Wars tie-dye t-shirt on.